Okay, cool.
We are live.
Hi, everybody.
Guys, welcome to call 4 of our Tribe United leadership training. We have Rachel Luna back to rock the house again. We're so excited for her content last week. It's funny because you can't keep my attention for very long. I have shiny object syndrome, and I was unfortunately I had to miss the live call last week because I was taking my daughter to her cheerleading performance, and I got back and I was like, holy crap, this is a 2-hour recording. I turned it on and I was like, well, I'm going to listen to like the first 30 minutes of it, and I couldn't shut it off. So it was like the dialogue that was going back and forth between like questions and answering, and like Rachel freaking coaching you guys on the spot. Like, I personally hired Rachel as a coach. You guys got that for free. Are you kidding me? If you guys are not taking advantage and milking these sessions for what they are worth, then y'all are crazy and that's your own fault. So I am not even going to spend any more time in your guys' face. You guys aren't here to hear me talk. You guys are here to hear Miss Rachel Luna. So take it away, Sister Fran.
Hello, everybody. Wait, how come I don't see me as like the big? Go away, Andrea.
I clicked it.
Okay, cool. All right, so welcome, everybody. I am so pumped to be here with you. Now, if you were with me last week, you remember I was in this exact same kind of an area. It is not Taco Tuesday today. So I believe that we're going to have like a much better experience. And I'm just like really pumped to be here. Tonight, I got to be honest with you. So like I was racking my brain thinking, should I expand on what we talked about last week with confidence and leadership, or should we go in a different direction? And I did my research and I started looking at what you guys were posting in your groups. And I thought, you know what? Let's talk about rank advancement and rank advancing with confidence. So, oh my gosh, did you guys hear that? Was that loud? All right, so I'm going to screen share with you guys. I've got some slides. And will you just tell me in the comments that you see my slides, just so that we make sure, and then I'll stop asking you. Somebody tell me. And while you're telling me if you can see my slides, I want you to answer this question right here, which is, how many of you have hit your rank advancement goal in the last 3 weeks to qualify for those last 2 calls that I heard you guys are going to get with, okay, awesome, you see them, with Craig Holiday. So I'm not going to expand these yet because I actually want to see the answer to this question. I know that you have until next week. So you have until February 16th to actually hit that goal. But how many of you have already done it in 3 weeks? So if you did it, I would love to see in the chat where you say, yes, I hit the goal. And if you didn't, go ahead and tell me I didn't hit the goal. Don't tell me why you didn't hit the goal, because quite frankly, I don't care why you didn't hit the goal. Diamond, right? Yes, Diamond. And I'm going to take off this earring right here. Now, I know I just said I don't care why you didn't hit it, and somebody's feelings got offended. Somebody got offended because I said I don't care why you didn't hit the goal. And so tonight, I want to give you a little taste of what working with me is like. And so I last week I was really nicey, but this week I'm kind of going to be like dropping the hammer. I'm going to approach you the way that I approach Brandy, the way that I approach Andrea when they try to give me some BS excuse for why they're not doing stuff. So a couple of you are saying, and so typically when they tell me, like, you know, why they didn't do something, I really don't care why they didn't get it done. The real question is, what are we going to do to fix it? And so that's what we're going to talk about today. So let me just acknowledge, okay, I'm seeing a bunch of no's. However, I did see Amanda Trojan. Yes, girl, get it. Okay, so February 16th is the date. That means you have about 17, not about, you have exactly 17 days to make this happen. And so tonight, I'm going to give you some rank advancements I'm going to give you, I was going to say strategy, but maybe that's not the right word, and we'll talk about that in a second. I'm going to give you some pointers. I'm going to give you some training that if you apply it, you'll hit your goal. And some of you will, and some of you won't, and it's going to be what it is. But my intention is that in this call today, I'm going to do some, oh, and Lindsay hit it. Go ahead, Lindsay, work it with your bad self. But my intention is that in this time together, I'm also going to be coaching some of you. So if you want to get a little bit of coaching from me, I want to make sure that you understand the parameters. When I ask you to share in the live chat, be specific. If I have to ask you too many follow-up questions, I'm just going to cut you off, all right? So I'm really going in hard and heavy today, but it is for your betterment because I just know what I'm talking about. I was trying to say that humbly, but sometimes you just can't be humble, right? Like sometimes you just got to call a spade and you just got to own your excellence. Okay, so we did that, survey says. Now, I have to let you know a little bit of real talk. I did my homework and y'all goal setting game needs work. Hear me when I say this. Like some of you, your goal setting game is a hot mess. Now, I'm not going to name names, but I did copy and paste 2 examples that I found in some of the groups that I'm a part of. All right, I'm not going to lie. I found it in your group, but don't be rude and start trolling looking for who said this. Mind your own beeswax. Keep your eyes on your paper. But I'm going to show you some of the goals that I saw. And this was the push goal. So here's one example. My push goal for the next 6 weeks is to become a better leader, work on myself to become the best in several areas of my life, and hit 3-star diamond, and find working coaches who have the same vision that I do. Next example. My push goal for the next 6 weeks is to hit 2-star qual by January 26th, to hit Success Club 20 every month, and make $1,000 a week. You're doing it wrong. Did you hear me? You are doing it wrong. Oh my gosh, I looked at this and I almost fell out my damn chair. I was like, really? That's your push goal? You're doing it so wrong. No wonder you don't feel confident with rank advancement. You're freaking all over the map. You are you're up, down, left, and right. Oh my goodness, are you confused? You have to feel confused when you have that many goals in one short 6-week period that you're trying to talk about. That's my push goal. First of all, I know what a push goal is, right? I know you got that from Chalene Johnson. And here's how she defines the push goal. It is one thing that if accomplished will make all other goals possible. So I'm going to tell you right now, the reason most of you are not hitting your rank advancement goals is because you're trying to do everything under the sun. Now, I get it. I can already see someone saying to me, but Rachel, our business, there's like 2 different paths. I'm either recruiting for coaches or I'm recruiting for challengers, and it's so confusing and blah, 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 blah. All right. I get it. You do have 2 pathways in your business. However, if you are looking to rank advance, what's the path? Somebody tell me. I'm going to stop sharing my screen. I want to hear what you have to say. What is the path? If you are trying to rank advance, what are you focusing on? Oh my gosh, I'm going to need y'all to be quicker. Don't all jump out at me. I know we have about a 20-second delay, but what's the number 1 focus? I'm going to give you the answer in the sake of time. The number 1 focus is in recruiting coaches, right? Recruiting coaches. And so thank you, Brittany. Coaches, inviting. Yes, inviting. Okay, so here's what I'm seeing. Danielle, Success Club is a great component, but Success Club might be just challengers, right? So, okay, and I can see why now you're not hitting your goals, because you all have different ideas of what it takes to actually rank advance. So let me just give you the real answer. What it takes to rank advance is to invite and recruit coaches. That's the path to rank advancement. Now, inviting, business growth, Success Club, all of that does help you grow your business overall. It all adds to your goals for Elite and the Success Club points and all of that. But when we're talking about rank advancement, your focus should be on inviting for people to sign up as a coach. Now, whether you want them to be business builders or discount coaches, that's on you. That's so for a whole other day. But at the end of the day, it is all about inviting. And I find that that is the one thing that most of you really struggle with doing. I talk to so many of you and you're like, I want to invite, but then all these things come into play. So I get it. Let's keep moving because we're going to talk about that in just a minute. But right now, I need you to understand that when you are goal setting, if you want to go and use a push goal, you need to narrow that down to the one thing that, if accomplished, will make all other things possible. So when we look at our examples here, my goal for the next 6 weeks is to hit 2-star qual by Jan, my push goal. So what's going to get you to 2-star qualification by January 26th? The push is actually hitting that Success Club 20 every month, but you have to make it more specific. Hitting Success Club 20 every month, and 10 out of the 20 are coach signups. I'm just giving you a more specific, and you have to narrow it down, because if you recruit the coaches that you need, hit 2-star qual, and then you will make $1,000 a week. Do you see how that sort of layers up on each other? When we look at this, okay, becoming which is it? And what we're looking at here, become a better leader, work on myself to be the best in several areas, hit 3-star diamond, find working coaches with the same vision that I do. Which is the one that is actually going to get you all of those other things? It's going to be recruiting. It's not just finding, it's recruiting, it's inviting. You're not going to just find people. You got to go out and get them. You got to become a fisherman. You got to become fishermen of men and women. They don't just come to you. Yes, I get attraction marketing. I get that. Sometimes that works. But what I see happen is that people get too complacent with attraction marketing. And then when you actually have to go out there and fish, you don't know what the hell to do with yourself because you got complacent, because you thought, well, I'll just find them. They'll just magically, deliciously show up. This ain't no bowl of Lucky Charms. No. So what's it going to be? It's inviting. Now, I also want to point out something here. My goal is to become a better leader and to work on myself to become the best in several areas of my life. My friend, you're going to need a whole lot more than just 6 weeks to become the best in several areas of your life. Why don't you focus on one area first? Can you slow your roll? Can you just drop your focus to do one thing with excellence? Oh, I'm getting fired up in here today, y'all. I really came to drop the hammer on you today. Can you do one thing with excellence? Can you invite for the next 17 days with excellence at your highest possible capacity, with the most joy and vibrancy and passion for this business and for your future and your vision and your team? Can you do that? Because I'm going to tell you what's not going to get it. Trying to do all of this in one 6-week period. I'm not saying it's impossible. Anything is possible, but you are going to be in burnout and you are not going to be the best in anything. Ooh, somebody tell me they received that. All right, so you're all over the map. We established what the push goal is. So now I'm going to show you the roadmap to advancing with confidence. And I really like this cute little image. Isn't it so cute? So there's going to be 5 little steps that we're going to cover. Okay, now I have 3 words on the screen: story, strategy, and state. I'm going to break it down, and then I want you to tell me, all of you that are watching with me that are here, which of these is the number one thing that you need to focus on. As a matter of fact, rank them in order. So let's go with, right there in the middle is the strategy. These are the tactics. It's your scripts. It's the way that you approach people. It's your copywriting for your Facebook posts. It's your images for your ads. It's the sequence of the follow-up that you're going to do when you invite someone to join. It's the Coach Basics system that you have in plan. All of that is strategy. So is that the number one key to helping you rank advance with confidence? Next, don't answer me yet. I'm going to break these down and then I'm going to tell you when to answer me. The next thing, and I'm just going in random order, state. This is your emotional, energetic state. Like how you're showing up when you reach out to people, how you're inviting, how you're leading your team. Is that the key to rank advancement? And then finally, we have story. And this is the stuff that is running in your mind, the things that you believe about yourself, the chatter, if you will, the stories that you've been telling yourself over and over about what's possible for you. So there's 3 components, right? Now, I'm going to give you a little hint. You have to work on all 3 of these things if you want to get to the next level in anything, in your life, in your business, in your health and fitness. But I want to know, can you put these in the right order of priority? So what's first, what's second, and what's third? So I am going to minimize that. I want to look at here and let's see. Rank them in order for me. And while you're ranking in order, I'm going to look and see. Ooh, I love it. We got some Tony Robbins fans in here, right? All right, so y'all know this, right? Oh, and for the record, let us give credit to my man Tony, because this is his framework, story, state, strategy. So yeah, story, state, strategy. Now, how many of you feel like you've mastered the story game? Like you're good. You're good with your story. You wake up every day and you feel complete. You're not telling yourself any lies. You feel super secure and confident. All right, that's good. Y'all got it right. Y'all got it right. Story, state, strategy. Fantastic. Now, here's the funny thing. And this is what I think is really funny, right? Like everybody's answering it the right way. I know, Rachel, it's my story. And then I got to work on my state. And then at the very end, it's strategy. And yet, so many of you are looking for the strategy. And I know this to be true because last week on the call, we were talking about what somebody was doing. And right away, I saw so many questions. Are you doing meal plan? Well, what are you doing to get them? And all of you asked what was the strategy behind, but I didn't see a single person say, what's your mindset when you're creating your content? What's your mindset when you're reaching out to people? Do you have any mantras or affirmations that you're saying? Is there anything that you've been able to do in terms of personal development that help you put yourself out there more? How did you become more visible? What was your thought process to break out of your shell? I didn't see anyone ask a single question based on how do I change my story? How do I actually approach this from a different perspective? Because Brendon Burchard, let me quote people and give him credit where credit is due, but Brendon Burchard says this all the time. Common sense isn't always common practice. And right now, I bet you know a lot of what I'm going to tell you today, but you're not doing it. So it bears to be repeating, and I'm going to drop it on you like it's hot because I want to make sure that you get it. These next 17 days are about you becoming the leader that you are meant to be. It's about you really stepping up into your power. It's about you transforming your state. So here's the pyramid. And again, I want to give credit to Tony Robbins. I don't know if he's the original author of this framework, but that's where I learned it. And so if anybody knows if I'm wrong, please let me know. All right. So let's dig into this story, because if you want to advance rank with confidence, you're going to have to identify the persisting negative automatic thought that shows up whenever you sit down to do your power hour, whenever you sit down to follow up with people, whenever you go to approach and actually have an invitational conversation. I'd love for you to share in the comments, what's that thing? Is it, and here's a little teaser, here are a couple of thoughts to get your juices flowing, but I'm not good enough. I'll look silly. They can't afford it. I'm bothering them. I'm working as hard as I can. Which is usually followed up with, I'm working as hard as I can and it's not working. I don't have enough time. It won't work for me. Oh, and my favorite, my team doesn't want it as bad as I do. I mean, raise your hand. I know y'all have been guilty of at least one, if not all. So tell me, let's break it down. What is the persistent negative automatic thought that pops up for you when, I want to make sure you understand, when you are specifically doing the activities that are going to help you rank advance? So let me look and see. Okay, so a lot of you said, no, you're not there with your story. So I'm good with my story, but sometimes fear gets in my way. So Mindy, you're not good with your story. If fear is stopping you, then you're not good with your story. Because here's the thing, fear, you don't have to take action fearlessly. You can take action in the face of fear, but if you cannot take action in the presence of fear, you're not right with your story. Your story is still getting in there, and your story is winning. Okay, so other thoughts are they can't afford it and I'm bothering them. No one will buy from me because you're not thin enough. Oh my gosh, girl, that is BS if I ever saw it. I can't do this, I'm pestering them, they won't sign up. I don't sign coaches who actually work the business. No one believes this is more than a pyramid scheme, so they wouldn't want to work with me in an MLM. I'm not willing to put in as much time as it will take to achieve that goal. Ooh, Brielle, that is a good one. And I want to celebrate you right now because it takes a lot of courage to admit that you don't want to put in the time and effort to get to where you want to be. However, I bet we could reframe that. I don't have enough success for them to believe it's an amazing opportunity. Let me just let you know right here and now, all of these thoughts that you're sharing with me, they're all lies. They're just lies from hell, straight up. Anna says, how many times can I ask the same people? I do not have the leadership skills that inspire people. All of these are lies. All of these are lies. I can reframe every single one of them, and we'll do some reframing. All right, so let me get to the next slide because we'll do some reframing. But what these are, these thoughts that are coming in for you are fixed mindset thoughts. And my goal for you is that I help you start to make the transition into a growth mindset, because the only way you're going to rank advance and hold it, because anybody can rank advance, but the only way you're going to rank advance and hold it to last the qualification period is to switch from a fixed mindset to a growth mindset. Now, a little real talk, the best predictor of your success is your mindset. So if you haven't achieved the level of success that you want, I'm going to tell you right now, it's not the strategy. It's not the tactics. It's your mindset. It's the thoughts that are holding you prisoner. It's that negative chatter that you're allowing to win. And it's not even fear, right? Fear is a symptom of the real problem. And the real problem is your mind. Okay, so let's talk about rewriting the story and how to make the shift to a growth mindset. So what you're going to do is you're going to retrace and reframe your negative automatic thoughts. I'm going to go back in and I'm going to look at some of what you guys said. Okay, so we're going to do this together. You guys have already shared with me your negative automatic thoughts that come up when it comes to the work that you need to do for rank advancement. So I'm going to actually break some of this down for you. Okay. I don't know my goals, so how can I help others with their goal? Okay, Christy, I'm going to work my way backwards and I'm going to pick, let's do 5. All right. Let's do 5 of these. And I'm going to have little hash marks here on my paper so I make sure I don't go over. I can't do it as good as the top coaches, or my systems aren't efficient enough. Okay, let me look at some of these. I want to tackle some of the ones that I know are the most common. Here we go. They can't afford it and I am bothering them. Christy, when you go to sit down to actually reach out to people, and this thought of they can't afford it comes up. Usually, okay, so at this point, I would love to be able to work with you guys and have you tell me the responses. I've done this a long time. You guys can't actually talk back at me. In the sake of time, I'm going to tell you how most people respond when I go through and I start coaching them. Okay, so, and I've heard this a lot. I've heard this one of they can't afford it and I'm bothering them. So when you are sitting down and you think they can't afford it, let me ask you, don't you think that you're kind of really playing God here? Don't you think that you're actually minimizing their ability to take responsibility for their life? And you're judging them. Are you someone that judges people? Is that who you want to be? Is that how you want to show up in the world? That you look at someone and whether you know what's going on in their life or not, you're judging them. You've made a decision for them. How do you like it when people make decisions for you without giving you options? It's selfish. Somebody just got sucker punched right there. So what we do, right? And by the way, thank you all for playing along with me and letting me do this work with you, because this is important work, right? This is how we rank advance. This is how we feel confident. This is how we actually reprogram our brains. And I talked last week a little bit about the neural pathways. Your brain is conditioned for pattern. Your brain wants to protect you from feeling hurt, pain, and ultimately death. So your brain right now in this sort of environment is protecting you from rejection. It's protecting you from that feeling of inadequacy. But we're going to rewrite that tonight. So Christy and anybody else that thinks they can't afford it, what you are doing is you are making a decision for someone without giving them opportunity to make the decision for themselves. You're essentially robbing someone else's free will. So rather than have that thought, the reframe is, I don't know if they can afford it or not, but I know that I can't afford to not share this opportunity with them. And likewise with I'm bothering them. Maybe you are bothering them, but so what? That's up to them to then say, hey, stop bothering me. And if they don't tell you, stop bothering me, leave me alone, then you're not a mind reader. So what if you make them uncomfortable? That's on them. This is where we have to allow people to step up and stand up for themselves. And if you're not willing to bother people for the sake of helping them change their lives, then you have no business being in the transformational space. Because I can tell you right now, I have no problem bothering any of you tonight. I have no problem making any of you feel incredibly, incredibly uncomfortable. In fact, I hope I'm making you feel uncomfortable. Not because I'm mean, not because I don't care. On the contrary, because I care so freaking much. Because I believe so much in what you are capable of and what this business has to offer you. So I don't care enough about the fact that I might be bothering you. And I care way too much about helping you have transformation. Now imagine if when you went into your inviting, that was your approach. I care so much about you, I'm gonna bother you until I hear you tell me I'm done. Don't bother me anymore. And I might bother you a couple months later just to make sure you really don't want me to bother you, right? Imagine how that would take the pressure off of you. Because what you're doing there is you're transferring the responsibility over to them, for them to stand up and say, no, stop it, I don't like it. For them to be able to say, you know what, I really appreciate it, but I can't afford it. And then when they say they can't afford it, you as a leader need to be solution oriented. You need to become a problem solver. Okay, you can't afford it now. Can I help you map out a budget so that in 2 months from now, I circle back with you and you've got enough for your first challenge pack? And can I hold you accountable to that? Can I help you get there? Can I help you figure out ways to afford it? You got to be a problem solver. You have to help them make the best decision for themselves. All right, let me pull out another one. Ooh, let's see. I can't do it as good as the top coaches, or my systems aren't efficient enough. Colleen, you're right. You can't do it as good as the top coaches. you might could do it better, but you don't know because you're allowing this, I can't do it as good as them, to stop you. You didn't even open up the possibility that you could do it 10 times better than them. Oh my gosh, could you imagine? Could you imagine if you showed up and you were so focused on mastering the art of inviting that you started breezing past the top coaches, that then the top coaches came to you and said, Colleen, how'd you do that? You don't have enough vision to see what I'm talking about, Colleen. And I get it. So let me break it. So what I just did right there, Colleen, is I gave you something to think about. I sort of poked the bear a little bit. I really dug into your insecurity, but I'm not going to leave you on the deep end without a raft, or what is that? A little donut lifesaver thing. Let's reframe this in a way that you can take action, not worrying about the top coaches. You don't need to do it as good as the top coaches. You don't need to do it better. You need to do it in a way that is in alignment with you and your values and your beliefs. Did you get that? You don't need to worry about what anybody else is doing. The beauty of this business is that while it does have an element, a team component, right? I like to think about it as like a cross-country team. Yes, you're all on the same team and you're all hoping for the win, but at the end of the day, you're each running your own race. You are each going after your personal best. So Colleen, what if when that came up of, I can't do it as good as the top coaches came up, you said, it doesn't matter if I'm as good as the top coaches. Today, my focus is on beating my personal best. And when it comes to my systems aren't efficient enough, okay, we'll conduct an audit. They're not efficient enough. Can I reach out to my upline and have my upline look at my systems and help me figure out what's working and what's not? Could I hire Rachel Luna to look at my stuff and help me figure out if my systems are efficient and how can I make them more efficient? Whatever, girl. Solve some problems, people. Get curious about how you can transform, not change, transform the paradigm. Oh, I know somebody got that. All right, so that's 2. 1, 2. We're going to go 3 more. Is this helpful for you? Let me know that this is helpful, going through it and sort of breaking these down. Because if it's not, then we can just move on. But if I get 5 people say, like, this is helpful, keep going, then we'll keep going. In the meantime, I'm going to take a quick sip of water because hydration, right? All you health fitness people. You know, hydrate. All right, cool. So I got 1. Yeah, okay, good. All right, so a couple of you are chiming in. Let's see. Let's see. I can't get enough working coaches. Yes. Yes, 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 Carrie. I can't get enough working coaches. I have heard that so many times. That goes along hand in hand with my team doesn't want it as bad as I do. Okay, you can't get enough working coaches because you're not selling the dream. You're not painting the vision. So for you, the reframe is, let's see. I wish I knew a little bit more about your story, but let me try to give you a reframe that's going to cater to most of the people here who have that same thought of, I can't get enough working coaches. Well, first of all, you have to start the reframe with a new mantra, in that I have so many people who want to work the business. I am now selective about who I want to work with. Ooh, Carrie, could you imagine? Could you imagine that moment where you are such a stud at inviting that you're starting to get all these people that actually want to work the business, and you're saying, you know what, you're not really a good fit for my team, but let me redirect you to someone else who might love to work with you. Ooh, you can't even imagine that, can you? So here's the reframe. My focus is on demonstrating every single day the beauty and the benefits of this business such that people are begging me for information on how they can become a working coach. So what does that mean, Carrie? Who do you have to become then in order to get enough working coaches? First of all, you don't want enough. You want more than enough. You want to overflow. You want to get to the point where you're thinking like, man, I might need to hire some help because I have so many coaches. Now we get into high level leadership as how do I manage all these people, which by the way, is also a big mindset block of if I recruit too many people, I won't be able to manage them all. And you don't need to worry about that because the more people you have, the more money you're going to make, the more team members you can bring on to delegate, the more assistants you can hire. So when we think about I can't get enough working coaches, it's really who do I need to be and how do I need to show up in the world such that people are excited about the possibility of becoming a coach. So what does that look like, Carrie? I want you to think about that. And then when you figure that out, then your next reframe, so I'm giving you 2 reframes. Your next reframe is, I am a shining example of how amazing this business is. Oh, yes. Girl, I like that one. Sometimes I come up with stuff that I just love myself too. Let's see. Let me pull out. Okay, so that's 3. Let's see. To get the right mindset, should we just up the personal development like crazy? No, because I don't want you getting down the rabbit hole of personal development where then you come back and give me the BS excuse of, well, I can't invite people because I'm working on getting my mindset right. That's bull. Look, if you want to get your mindset right, just make the commitment today that every time a negative automatic thought comes in, when I'm about to do my work, the work I was purposed and chosen to do, I'm going to shut it up, I'm going to reframe, and I'm going to move in the face of fear. Pick one personal development book or audio, listen to that when you're driving or folding laundry or, doing the mundane household tasks that we all need to do. However, don't go down this crazy rabbit hole of, I need to do more personal development before I can, because that's bull, and I'm not co-signing on that today. Not today, Satan, not today. Okay, another one here. So we're going on to our 4th. I've tried this before in another company and failed when others were progressing. Why can't I? Okay, cool. So you've tried it in another company and failed. Well, really, did you fail or did you walk away from that company? Because failure is part of the game. If you're not failing on a daily basis, then you're not doing enough. Like if you don't have at least one major setback a week, you're not fully showing up. And I know somebody's like, well, I don't want to have major setbacks. I just wanted to go smooth sailing. Well, then go be an employee in a 9-to-5 and don't go trying to start your own business and don't go trying to have 6-7 figure incomes, because part of the journey to 6, 7, 8 figures, multiple 8 figures, is failing ridiculously. So Danielle, maybe a reframe for you is, it doesn't matter what I did in any other company. That wasn't the company for me. I believe in Beachbody. I'm committed to this company and to where I am in this present moment. And my level of commitment is the reason why I'm okay with failing. And we're going to have some fun failing on the way down. I mean, there's so many ways I could go with this one, Danielle. Do you understand the 45 different stories that I could write for you with just this one sentence? You pick the story that feels best for you. Simple. I didn't succeed in that company because that wasn't the company for me. I wasn't passionate about that. That wasn't my spirit animal company. This is my spirit animal company. This is the company where I see vision and possibility for myself. This is the company that breathed life into me. And I can roll with this. And when others are failing, I am learning from their mistakes. I'm taking notes and I'm moving forward. I'm stepping over the bodies. Ooh, that was good. All right, last one, and then we're gonna move on. And I saw we have some questions. Oh my gosh, I have so much to give y'all tonight. Woo! Stick with me tonight, y'all. Stick with me tonight because I'm so here for you. Okay, steal for posting. Yes, steal. Want to decide, commit. Yes. Let's see. Let me do one more. Or maybe not. Maybe we covered them. I can't do this on posting them. We kind of already talked about this. They won't sign up. Tracy, they won't sign up. Maybe they will, maybe they won't. So what? That's what you need to say. Maybe they'll sign up, maybe they won't sign up, but so what? It doesn't matter whether or not they sign up. What matters is that I am honoring my goal to help as many people as I possibly can. And in order for me to instigate change and transformation in other people's lives, I have to invite. I get to invite people. And whether they sign up or not is irrelevant. My joy, my passion is in presenting a life-changing opportunity. It doesn't matter if they sign up or not. My focus is on getting this opportunity in front of as many people as possible, trusting that the right people are going to sign up. And it's okay if I have to circle back and ask people to come with me multiple times. It's okay if I have to follow up. Eventually, the right people will sign up. So I wrote like 6 stories for you there. But I mean, the story and again, when you're writing the story, ladies and gentlemen, write the story that lights you up the most. Tracy, I'm going to tell you, when I was writing stories for you right now, the story that lit me up was, it doesn't matter whether or not they sign up. My passion and my mission is to get this opportunity in front of as many people as I can, trusting that the right people will say yes. Whoo, somebody else took that. I know somebody just wrote that down. All right. So I think this is helpful for you guys. Okay, everybody's saying yes, yes, yes. I'm seeing some questions. Carrie says, so would you say that I should be posting more about coaching and less about the products and programs? That's up to you, Carrie. I don't know who's your ideal coach. I don't know who's your ideal person. So here's the thing. Do you have clarity around who you want to work with? Because that's a key thing, right? When you're inviting people, it's like, well, who do you want to work with? And what's their pain point? And what is it that they are looking for? This is basic. Ooh, we about to get basic up in here. We always forget the basics. Like, why do we do that? Somebody tell me, why do we forget the basics? Carrie, I'm going to throw it back on you. Should you be posting more about coaching and less about products and programs? Should you be posting about all of it? Should you be posting just about products and programs? You tell me, who is your ideal coach? And what is her biggest pain point right now? That is going to be the answer to help you figure out what you should be posting. People, work with me here. Help me help you. Do you know who you're talking to? When you go to invite, do you know who you're looking for? Are you on a very clear, specific mission? When you go fishing, are you looking for salmon, or are you just casting your net and hoping that you just get any kind of old fish? You looking for delicious, beautiful salmon, or are you okay with catfish, the bottom feeders? Ooh, yes, I know, right? Somebody's like, oh, that's such a good point. Do you want a beautiful Chilean sea bass? You know, that's rare here. A beautiful, delicious Chilean sea bass, or do you want a catfish that's dwelling at the bottom of the sea? You got to figure that out for yourself, and then you talk to that person. Okay, let's see. Okay, cool. Right. We don't have time for bottom feeders. Okay, so now let me get back into these slides because I still have much more to cover with you. And I just hope that some of you are walking away with some wisdom right now. I hope that in just this little bit that we've talked about right now, you're feeling really inspired to actually get it together and show up at a different level. Fix that story. Rewrite the story. That BS story is holding you prisoner. Set yourself free. And remember that mastering your story is a daily practice. You're not going to get it right on the first day and just be like, okay, cool, I'm good. No, this is an everyday thing. Ladies and gents, I teach confidence, right? This is my jam. Mindset, I'm a master. And at least once a week, I have to check myself because my own story will get in the way. This is, I mean, the story only lasts for like 5 seconds now, but I can recall when my story would last 5 months and nothing would get done. Don't you want to get to that place where you're 5 seconds, the story comes in, you hear it, you say, oh, I see you, I got your number, not today. You reframe, you rewrite the story, you see the fear. You don't waste time trying to get rid of fear and try to be all fearless. You see the fear, you say, fear, I got your number, I recognize you. I'm going to continue to move forward. You may join me if you like, or you may stay behind. Either way, it doesn't matter. It's irrelevant. You are not stopping me. I am going to continue forward. And please try not to kill me in the process, right? I mean, imagine if you could just approach every single day that way. You would be free. You truly would feel free. All right, so let's talk about the state. And we're going to go quickly through the state. But really, how are you showing up emotionally and energetically? Now, for the record, I'm not going to front. I told Andrea, I was like, oh, girl, I've been coaching for a couple of hours already. I'm a little tired. She said, I'm not receiving that. I said, I'm not receiving it either. I was just verbalizing it, right? Because our thoughts, our emotions, our ideas need acknowledgement. Acknowledge it. I see you. I got your number. I'm not receiving you. And here's how I'm going to move forward. And what I did even before I got on with Andrea was I walked out in the hall. People must have thought I looked crazy, but I started doing some jumping jacks. I started doing stretches. I drank extra water. And then before she hit the play, I did what I do. I waved my hand over my face, right? I got myself in the right spirit. I took a deep breath and I said, okay, I'm ready. I'm on. I'm turning it on. Are you turning it on before you go in front of the people that you're trying to recruit? Because here's the thing, you have to you have to transform the state, right? So before you get on the call, or excuse me, the call, the message, whatever, before you come in front of your audience, are you feeling anxious, doubtful, desperate, fearful, excited, empowered, determined, joyful? Like, what emotions are you bringing to the table? That makes a huge difference in how other people are going to receive and respond to you. So if you don't have this state down, if you come up, in fact, there's someone on the call today, and she said that she's one of my clients in one of my group coaching programs. And she said, we were talking about how her week went. And she said, well, the first 2 days, I did my power hour and I was super excited. I felt good. I did everything that we talked about. I was expecting the sale. I was excited. I did everything. She said, but then the next 2 days, I don't know. I just didn't feel it. So I said, okay, well, what was going through your mind? What was happening? And she said, well, I had worked a really long time and I said to myself, I just have to get this done. Well, heck. No wonder you didn't have a good experience. No wonder it was hard for you to show up, because your mindset and your attitude and your state was, let me just hurry up and get this over with. Well, that doesn't serve anybody, because you need to remember that when you present this opportunity, like approach it as like you're really giving them an amazing opportunity. You're giving them a freaking golden ticket. So what if you haven't cashed your golden ticket yet? You're going to get there. They might take off to the winds. They might be the next Lindsay Matway. And guess what? If you recruit the next Lindsay Matway, do you know what's going to happen to your volume? Oh my gosh, ridiculous. Where's she at? Or Melanie Mitro, whoever's the top coach this year. All right, so think about the state in which you are approaching the invitation. So here are a couple questions that you can ask yourself to transform the state. Now, I notice I don't say change. We don't want to change. We want to transform. Change is temporary. Transformation is eternal. Did you get that? Ooh, somebody write that down. Okay, so here's the first question is, how do you wish to be seen? So if this person were standing right in front of you, how would you want them to see you? Would you want them to see you as someone who is excited and vibrant and who's really in a place of empowerment and authority and leadership? Well, excuse me, if that's how you want to be seen, then that's how you need to show up. No one is gonna, so let me stop sharing my screen. And for my people that were with me at in Phoenix, we talked about this, right? How I was a guest at a team call, and it was a Zoom, so I could see all their faces. And when I got on the call, all excited to spend time with them, this is how they were sitting. Really? This is how they were. So many. I had some like this. I had others like this. Friends. Is that the energy you want to put out into the world? Is that how you're approaching your invitations? Are you sitting at your computer like this, just getting it done? Or are you at your computer with your back upright, feeling empowered like the amazing person that you are? I told you last week, it's very woo-woo, but this energy thing, right? This is transferable. So how do you wish to be seen? How do you wish to really show up? Let me get back into my slides here. All right, there we go. Pow. So how do you wish to be seen? That's something that you need to take into consideration. And write these questions down. These should be part of your checklist, which we'll talk about in a moment. Here's a beautiful question to help you transform your state. If you were a fill in the blank number, diamond coach, 5-star, 2-star, 1-star, if you were a diamond coach, how would you show up when it comes to inviting and rank advancement? If you were a whatever diamond coach you dream of being, how would you show up? What would you do differently? How would you have to behave? Some of you are like, whoa, I've never even thought about that because I'm not there yet. Well, listen, you're not going to get there. You're not going to get there until you can be that person now. And now I know someone is asking, but I don't know how a 15-star diamond coach shows up. I don't know how a 5-star diamond coach shows up. I don't know how a 2-star diamond coach shows up. Can somebody please tell me what you think I'm going to say is the answer to that? Because it's so simple. It is so simple. I'm just going to give it away. I'm going to give it away because I can't stand to look and hear some of the crazy answers that I think you guys are going to give me. Become a problem solver. Become a leader who is solution-oriented, solution-focused. And if you don't know, excuse me, how a star diamond coach would show up, then go to your upline and ask them. Just freaking ask them, hey, how do you show up when you're afraid of rejection? Is there anything, any rituals that you do before you invite someone? Is there anything that you did? Now, granted, some of them are going to tell you, I don't know, I just showed up. I just did it. Now, you could easily dismiss that as like a throwaway answer, or you can actually listen for the deeper meaning there. When someone says, I just do it, they're not saying it's easy. They're not saying they didn't have struggles. They are literally saying, I just did it. I did it anyway. I was scared. I had all these negative chats. I did it anyway. So then you can take that back and you can think, okay, so a Star Diamond coach actually just feels like they just do it. They feel the feelings, they feel the fear, and they show up anyway. Okay, so what do I need to do? Okay, I just need to show up anyway. Oh my God, people, this isn't, rocket science. This is basic. Y'all need to become basic biatches up in here, okay? Next question. Who do you need to become to be the leader you've been called to be? Who do you need to become? Do you need to become more organized? Do you need to become more compassionate? Do you need to become more visible? Do you need to become more outgoing? Do you need to become a better writer, a better communicator, a better teacher, a better problem solver, a better solution finder? Who do you need to become to be the leader that you've been called to be? Now, here's the thing. I am asking a bunch of questions on transforming the state. I'm not telling you to spend 30 minutes before you get into your power hour having this whole come to Jesus life processing moment. I'm telling you to spend some time this week answering these questions, figuring out the answers, and then when you go into your calls, bring up the answers. Bring the answers back into your vision, into your view, so that when you need to transform the state, you can look at your little piece of paper and say, if I were a 10-star diamond coach, I would show up with energy and enthusiasm. I would show up just because. Cool, I'm showing up just because. How do I wish to be seen? I wish to be seen as someone who is energetic and really empowered and really inspiring. So let me just listen to something inspiring. Okay, I'm good. Let me put on a smile and say some encouraging words that will inspire this person to listen to me. So you have to do a little bit of work, a little bit of prep work to get to the place where you can transform the state automatically. Okay, so the lesson in this state is to set yourself up, because high performance athletes don't show up on the field without warming up, right? Some of them actually will run a couple of miles before they have to go do a game. I used to run cross country. I don't like running, by the way. For the record, I actually hate running. And yet I was on a cross country team. And then I went on to join the United States Marine Corps, where all we do is run. Why? I don't know. However, I ran all the time. And before running a cross country race, which is 3 miles, we would do a mile warm-up. A third of the race we would do as a warm-up. Are you warming up? Are you transforming your state before you step into the invitation game? If you're not, then that might be why this whole recruiting thing isn't working out for you. That might be why you don't feel confident, because you're not putting on your battle armor. You're not stepping into that power. You're not going into it with the tools that are available to you of confidence, right? The tools of confidence, this armor. All right, let's talk about the strategy. So the strategy is for you to decide what is most important and then make a checklist. Hello. The hint here is that it's basic. Y'all have a checklist. As a matter of fact, by the way, can I just show you something that I found? I was cleaning out a closet. Let me stop sharing here. Does this look familiar to any of you? Let me put up my pop-up chat so I can see if okay, good. All right, good. Okay. All right, cool. All right, so right here, oh good. I love that you guys are connecting with us. All right, so we're talking about checklists, right? Decide what it is that you want and then create a checklist. So this right here is Coach Basics. Now, this is years old. I don't even know if they still give it to you like this, but this was from 2013. I'm sure that they've updated this. I'm sure that there's something fantastic and amazing in there. However, there's a memory jogger. There's a business activity tracker in here. There's a contact list sheet. You have all of your little checklist sheets already provided for you in your back online office. Are you using them? Probably not. And I know what you're going to say. Well, I don't really like that tracker. Okay, cool. I get it. I remember the business activity tracker. It was pretty lame. Spend some time and create your own tracker. How freaking hard is that? You need a checklist to help you stay on course so that when your mindset comes in to mess you up, you are on it. Okay, I was watching the other day. Have any of you guys seen that movie Sully? You know, where it's based on the true story where Captain Sullenberger, he landed that big ass plane in the middle of the Hudson River. Do you guys remember that? Okay, in that movie, they show what's happening in the cockpit. So in the cockpit, the engines go out. This guy's been flying planes for like 40 years. The engine goes out, and then he says, get the manual. The co-pilot pulls out the manual, and they're looking at this checklist of stuff. Why the hell would they look at a checklist when they fly every single day? This guy is prepared for emergencies. Why are they looking at a checklist? Oh yeah, I got the DVD right here. Look, I got the DVD. They're looking at a checklist to make sure they don't freaking miss anything. Now, granted, in all fairness, he actually didn't even need the checklist because he was in an emergency situation. But you're not in an emergency situation, right? The real emergency is that you don't show up. Can we get you a checklist for that? Can we get you a checklist to show up? But when you show up to your business, do you have your list? Do you have your mantra? Do you have these things in front of you? I'm going to show you. I'll show you my own thing. Right? Oh, and yes, here it is, by the way. Someone said it comes as a DVD. Look, DVD. It even says it, game plan and tools. You have the strategy. I don't even want to see anybody wasting any more time on strategy when you know damn well what you need to do is you need to decide what's important. And then you need to make a checklist. Look, here's my little checklisty thing, right? So look how many things I have to fill out in any given day. And not in any given day, in every single day. And why do I follow this checklist? Why do I need to go in and check the pillars and circle how is my mental focus and how is my emotional energy and my physical? Why? Because I want to freaking make sure that I'm taking care of myself. I want to make sure that I am paying attention to the things that really need my attention so that I can show up at the highest level of mastery. Are you at the highest level of mastery? Are you mastering are you mastering inviting? Are you mastering the basics? Can somebody tell me if this is making any kind of sense? Or did I lose you when I said you need a checklist? Whether you get it from Beachbody or whether you create it yourself, but you need something. Yes, Brittany says the checklist helps you check yourself. Beautiful. Brittany, are you using a checklist every single day? Put you on the spot. While you're answering me, let me see if I can restart my slides here. Put you like Johnny on the spot. All right, here we go. Let's see, did she respond? Okay, yes. Okay, cool. I didn't see. Oh, good, Brittany. All right, so checklist, right? Making sure that you have your guide. Now, as you get to the level of mastery, you start to not need the checklist every single day, but you always have it available as a reference, as a guide for those days where you just don't feel like doing anything, right? And by the way, everybody feels that way. Andrea, I'm totally going to call you out, but there are some days where Andrea does not feel like doing jack crap, and she'll text me or call me and say like, hey, tell me to go do something. And of course, I will drop that hammer and tell her to go do something. And then I set a checks and balances, and then we really make sure that things get done. But that's what having that checklist is for, to keep you in points. All right, so Here's a little bit of real talk for you. Confidence comes from preparedness, knowledge, and action. Are you prepared, right? So do you have your checklist? Are you well-versed? Let me take a step back. I jumped into knowledge, but I want to talk about preparedness. Do you have your checklist? Did you transform your state? Have you put your story in check? Are you ready to do the work? Excuse me. Knowledge is, do you know the benefits and features of your products? Do you know how the business actually works? Do you know the numbers? Sorry, I have the hiccups, guys. Do you know the numbers of your business? Can you teach it? And if you can't, don't worry about it. You don't need to be able to do that to invite. I'm just giving you the 3 things that I know are going to help skyrocket your confidence, because after all, this is rank advancement with confidence. And then action. It's incredible how action creates confidence. Even the wrong action will still make you feel confident, because you'll be able to say, well, I did something. And then when you fail, then we can look and say, okay, so why didn't that work? Let's do a little after action report. Let's assess. Let's review the last 5 invitations that you sent. And let's see where you lost the people. Are you giving them too much information? Are you asking open-ended questions? Are you piquing their curiosity enough such that they in turn are now asking you questions, right? That's Monday morning quarterbacking, which is important, right? I like to go back to high performance athletes, because they do it right. So athletes, what happens after the games? Especially the games that they lose, do they say like, oh, well, we lost, let's just get back on the field? Yes, and they pile up in the locker room and they watch the games over. They watch themselves lose and they look at what they could have done differently. Are you looking at your losses? Are you reflecting back on the conversations that you've had to see where you lost the people? I mean, if you're not, you're missing out on an opportunity to develop mastery. Ooh, I know that hit somebody. I felt it. I'm glad you received it, for whoever that was. I felt you receive it, and I'm glad. And I also felt someone really think to themselves, I need to go back and look at some of my conversations and see where I'm losing them, where I'm going wrong, where I'm being too aggressive, where I'm not being aggressive enough. Because some of you think that just by extending the invitation or saying like, hey, how's the health and fitness coming along, that's enough. Instead of actually calling people out on their BS and say, hey, I keep inviting you to this. Why are you not interested? What's stopping you from signing up? Please help me understand why this isn't a hell yes for you, because it was a hell yes for me. And like, I just don't get it. I mean, how hard is it to have that conversation? And I know some of you are like, oh no, not me. I could never. Okay, Miss or Mr. I could never. Guess what? That's going to keep happening to you. You're going to continue to have that struggle because you're not being direct. You're not being a fisherman, right? You're just casting a net and hoping that you catch something, right? You're not actually going out there in the right waters, getting exactly what you want. All right. Let's talk about executing the strategy, right? So we talked about the strategy is to decide what you want and then make a checklist. Now, I'm going to be honest. I threw these in here as like little gimmies because you already know the strategy. But I feel like somebody's like, but I didn't get a strategy. Here's your strategy. The same bleep that you know you need to be doing, right? Oh, why am I getting so mad right now? Why am I getting so mad at this point right here? Because it's not about strategy, but let's just talk about strategy. You know what you need to do. Increase your number of invitations. Bottom line, point blank, you need to talk to more people. How do you talk to more people? Exactly what we just talked about. Preparedness, knowledge, and action. It's transforming, rewriting your story, transforming your state, executing on strategy, increasing your number of invitations. Become an emerald every 2 weeks. Holy moly, this is not the first time you've heard this. I don't even know why I bothered to put this in here, but Like, let's just humor each other, right? We know that you do these two things and you'll be a diamond coach in no time, or a star diamond coach in no time, right? When you help your team members become emerald every 2 weeks. Here's the most important strategy of them all, is to enroll others in your vision. But in order for you to really get people on board, your story needs to change. It needs to be rewritten. Let me take that back. Let me correct myself. Your story doesn't have to change. Your story has to be transformed. Did you hear me? Your story has to be transformed. Your state has to be transformed. And then you can enroll others in your vision when you have that clarity, when you've decided this is what I want. And don't get caught up to this is what I want to happen in X amount of time. Just be fluid about it. This is what I want. This is what I'm calling in. Come along with me, and this is what's possible for you too. Look, the strategy is easy. It's freaking easy. It's the story and the state that demand your commitment, your relentless pursuit to rewrite your story and transform your state are what's going to help you rank advance in the next 17 days, right? Because that's what we talked about, 17 days. So let me give you, hit the wrong button. Let me give you your action steps. I was so excited when I found this little roadmap. It's the little things that get me excited. So number one, rewrite your story. You're going to identify what are the negative automatic thoughts that are persistent, that keep showing up, and I want you to reframe it. Okay? Revisit and reframe it. Rewrite that story. Number two, you're going to decide what's important and create a checklist that makes you feel good. A beautiful, make it pretty, go into Canva, make it something that you actually want to look at. That planner that I showed you, I love opening that thing like a million times a day. I love it. I'm in love with it. Create a checklist that you're in love with, because we do things that we love, right? Next, examine your emotional state every single day, multiple times. Every time you're approaching any sort of action in anytime you're going to be around other people, examine your state. 4, execute your strategy, right? Because it's great to do these first 3 things, but then you got to go in and actually take the action. Execute your strategy. So what's your strategy going to be? And by the way, the reason why I didn't go into a bunch of strategies, because everyone's strategy is different depending on what their business goals are. So here's the thing. You might all want to become diamond, but your way about doing it may look incredibly different. So there's no need to really talk about that, because I'd have to create a custom plan for each of you in terms of in groups. I'd have to put you in groups. Okay, so if you're trying to do this, then this is your strategy. If you're trying to do that, that's your strategy. You know your strategy. It comes back to the basics. But what are you going to do? Are you going to double your number of invitations? Are you going to aim for becoming an emerald every 2 weeks? Are you going to aim to become an emerald every week? I don't know. You decide. And then number 5 is stay accountable. Who's up your butt helping you on a regular basis, making sure that you are becoming the person you wish to be? Every day, you have to ask yourself, who do I wish to be? And am I being that person? And if not, well, heck, what do I need to do to change that? What do I need to do to transform? What action must I take to be the person I wish to be? So let me open it up to questions. Okay, so I'm opening it up to questions. If you guys have anything that you want to talk about, I left time today for coaching. I really want to roll up my sleeves and get in there with you. Tell me what has been your biggest takeaway from what we covered tonight. Talk to me, talk to me, talk to me, baby. Andrea, are you still with me? Oh, hey, girl. Hey, girl, hey.
Hey, people put out their question. Oh, I'm getting feedback. Mute yourself for just one.
Oh, mute myself.
Okay. Yeah, that's better. Perfect. Okay, just like one of the things that you said that I hope that you guys like wrote down and underlined, but you said stop asking people for, you know, their systems. And so what I wrote down for myself was don't ask for their system, ask for their thought process. It's the same concept as give a man a fish, he eats for a day, teach a man to fish, he eats for life. This is the same thing in this business. And when I can go look back and ask myself, like, why did I excel? Why have I done well in this business? It's because I don't need to know exactly, you know, what it is. I just need to know how did they think? What was the thought process behind it? And if you guys can do that as leaders as well, don't just give your coaches the answer, teach them how to think on their own of where to become a researcher, how to ask the right questions. Like it just goes back to Rachel's point about just getting curious, asking the right questions. So it's more important about really understanding how to think in the thought process, like, you know, going back to what Rachel was saying, the mindset element of it is going to be the big shift for you guys. It's teaching yourself to rethink.
Yeah, and so I love that you said that, because here's the thing. If you try to copy someone's system step by step, what you're forgetting is that there is a different denominator in the equation, and that's you. And the brilliance that you bring and the secret sauce and the energy that you bring. So when you try to replicate someone's something step by step, you are taking yourself out of it. And so now you don't have ownership. And so now it doesn't feel in alignment. It doesn't feel authentic. And you can't execute something step by step without your own little secret sauce. It's kind of like when we follow recipes, right? Like, yeah, maybe the first time we follow the recipe to the letter, but then we realize, well, I would like it with a little more salt, or maybe I want to throw in some fish sauce and get crazy with it, right? Well, when you try to put yourself in this box of somebody else's system, you don't leave room for your innovation and your ability to transform something to that even better level, which we talked about with Colleen, who said, I don't think I'm going to be as good as Colleen. You might be better. But if you're trying to do it the way that they do it, you're never going to get to be better. So do we have any questions? Amanda says, I never got the email from last week and checked spam and promo. All right, Amanda, so I'm going to put it in the chat, but send an email to info@rachelluna.biz. We did test twice, today and throughout the week. And by the way, if you guys are wondering, like, what email was that? I'll put it up on the screen real fast so that you can, wait, that ain't it. Here we go. You can text the phrase, let me play that. You can text the phrase BB Workbook, all one word, to the number 44222, and that is going to give you the Leadership Mindset Audit Workbook that I created. And I highly recommend that if you didn't download this, definitely check it out. So that is all one word, not in caps, just the way you see it right there. BB Workbook to the number 44222. Bam. All right, let's see. Okay, so Get Fit with Tina Marie says, I'm getting back into the business and hesitate inviting because I fell off track and lost coaches. Is that just my own insecurity or excusing myself from inviting? So, I mean, yeah. But here's the thing. It could be both. It's your insecurity and you're giving yourself an out. Here's the thing. So you fell off and you lost coaches. So what? So you fell off. The fact that you lost coaches that's not really on you. Those coaches were not committed. Okay, so for all of you that are saying you never did either, did you check your spam? Because check your spam, and if you didn't, just send an email to info@rachelluna.biz, and my assistant Danielle will get those out to you tomorrow. So Tina Marie, let's go back to this. Okay, you fell off track, and then you lost coaches. That's not your responsibility. Every single one of you have the opportunity to stick with this business, whether or not your upline shows up. Who cares if your upline shows up or not? Do you want to be in this business? Do you care about this business? Whether they're around is irrelevant. So for the coaches that you lost, so what? They weren't committed. Next. Bye, Felicia. Why did you fall off track? Life happens. Okay, great. What lessons did you learn, Tina Marie? So I want to hear a little more. You fell off track. Why? And what's different? You fell off and you're back. What's different now? How do I know that you're not going to fall off track again? How do you know, more importantly, how do you know that you're not going to fall off track? Talk to me, Tina Marie. In the meantime, does anyone else have any blocks, any questions on anything that we've covered this week and last week? And also, I know some of you were asking, and a couple of you sent me an email. You're like, I didn't get the email about how to work with you. My bad, folks. There it is. If you're ready, go to rachelluna.biz/work, and you'll see all the ways that you can work with me. I have 3 different group coaching programs coming out in February. So check that out if you're ready. And even if you're not, go check that out. But talk to me, because this is your time. And I feel like there's someone who wants to ask a question, but they feel like it's a dumb question. And I'm going to tell you, the only dumb questions are the questions that never get asked. Okay, Danielle says, how do I inspire others while I'm pregnant to join, since I can't really have a physical transformation until baby girl gets here? Danielle, I feel like just slapping you right in the face, girl. You have such a great opportunity. Hello, Fit Pregnancy, how Shakeology is keeping you on track, how it's helping you mitigate the baby weight, so like you're having a super healthy pregnancy. You don't have to have a physical transformation. What about if you show them the life transformation? What if you show them the energetic transformation while all these other pregnant girls are super exhausted and uncomfortable? Here you are, drinking your Shakeology, having energy, and really just enjoying life thanks to this incredible business opportunity. How, girl, I see potential and opportunity here. I don't know what you see, but see it through my eyes. This is a great opportunity. So you're saying, I'm trying to show others the amazing business opportunity and being persistent, but nothing is happening. What should I do differently? Well, I can't tell you what you should do differently until I see what you're doing. So when you say I'm trying to show others the amazing business opportunity and being persistent, what does that actually mean? How are you showing them the amazing business opportunity? How are you being persistent? We can't make tweaks and adjustments and refinements to something that we really can't see, that's not tactile. Okay, let's see. Sweet Clean Life says, I'm a newer coach and only have my cold market. My Instagram is where I do business and I don't have a huge following. I'm having a hard time with inviting and really want to. Is there a question there? Okay, so I can already see one issue is that you're all telling me what's going on, but you're not asking questions. And I'll tell you, I learned this lesson the hard way because I was making the same mistake with my coach. Last year and this year, I hired a coach. Well, I've always had coaches, but last year and this year, I've chosen to work with the same coach, James Wedmore. And we were doing hot seats, and we had to submit our question ahead, and I submitted my question, and he kicked it back, and he said, that's not a good enough question. And I was so offended. I was like, well, obviously you're blind, fool. How could that not be a good enough question? It's very clear, it's plain as day. What do you recommend? And so I highlighted it, and I said, here's the question. What do you recommend? And he said, again, that's not a good enough question. Go deeper. So go deeper with your questions. I'm having a hard time inviting, and I really want to. Okay, great. I want to find $1 million when I walk out of this building. My question, if I wanted to find $1 million when I walked out of this building, is, hey, where do I go to get this $1 million? You got a roadmap? Have you heard of anyone doing that around here? Is that a common practice, or do you know of another place, right? Like, a silly example, but talk to me. Okay, so Let's see. How do I inspire others while I'm pregnant? Okay, I'm trying to read the next one. Well, I don't see the next one, Danielle. The last thing I saw was, I'm trying to show others, but I don't, what should I do differently? Okay. All right, there we go. Great. Should I be inviting people privately or just through posts? Sweet Clean Life, you should be inviting people by any means necessary. Private message, through posts, spending $5 a day on Facebook ads. You should be annoyingly inviting people. And I always like to tell the story of my friend Tara Carr, who was so annoying in getting me to try Shakeology. I mean, I almost unfriended her from Facebook. That's how annoying she was about inviting me. But guess what? She got my money. And for years I drank Shakeology, and I still love Shakeology, right? Because she just kept inviting and presenting it at every opportunity that she got. Okay, Tammy Siddick says, I need one day in your brain because you're blowing mine. I love how you turned someone not having money into asking how you can help them with the budget. So elementary, but never thought of it that way. Awesome. Thank you for the compliment, Tammy. But now I just showed you how to do that, right? So it's all about getting curious. Like, you have to become the master problem solver. You have to become the person who will always say, I don't know, but I will figure out. I learned that in the Marine Corps, right? When I was in the Marine Corps, we used to, in boot camp, by the way, in boot camp, they would ask us a question. And if we didn't know the answer, we had to say, this recruit does not know, but she will find out. And I got very, very curious with, I don't know the answer, but I better figure out a way to find out. And if I ask a question and I don't get the answer right, or I don't get an answer that helps, then I need to ask a better question. Okay. I've been drinking my shakes live on videos and snap about how I feel and all and nothing. I'm only 3 weeks in, so maybe I just need to give it more time. I am just anxious because I have less than 4 months to make this my full-time job. Okay. So Danielle, when I hear you say I'm anxious because I have less than 4 months to make this my full-time job, I hear a lot of desperation in your voice. And so desperation is never attractive to anyone. So first of all, let's reframe that perspective. And it's not that you have less than 4 months to make this your full-time job. Let's just say that in the next 4 months, you're fully committed to making this your full-time job. In less than 4 months, you get to make this your full-time job. So let's start with that. Secondly is, okay, you're posting your drinks and you're talking about how you feel. Are you asking people to actually sign up? Are you going in for the direct ask? And if you're going in for the direct ask and they're saying no, are you asking them why not? Or are you just saying, okay, well, thanks, girl. Let me know if you change your mind. Because I want to know why not. Why are you saying no to me? Why are you rejecting me? Did I do something? Do you not like Shakeology? Do you not want to change your life? What's really going on? Talk to me, right? Like, get curious. Get curious about the people that you're talking to. Ask them more questions about, like, what's their own mindset. Have you ever asked anyone about what their own negative beliefs are around health and fitness and wellness? Imagine if you asked that. Ooh, that's a good question. Somebody please start asking that. Okay, Sherry D says, when you're fishing and you're in the building phase, when you're trying to go emerald every 2 weeks and you know someone is a catfish, would you reel them in just to make the weight of your catch bigger or hit emerald, or throw them back? Ooh, Sherry D, that is such a good catch-22 question. And let me tell you why. Because if you're gonna bring them in just to hit your goal of emerald and to make the weight of your catch bigger, you can do that, but make sure that when you do that, it is with the understanding that you've caught a catfish and that this person will not produce or may not, let me rephrase, Of course, somebody has to come and yell right while I'm talking to you guys. Okay, so you have to understand that they may not produce, and I say may not because sometimes discount coaches fall in love and then decide that they want to give it a try. So that you have to understand that they may not produce, and also that they may drop out sooner than you need them to, and so that you're building an emerald, but it's a shaky emerald. So you can do it, but just make sure that you're very clear about who you're bringing in to your house and how fresh this fish is going to stay. Does that make sense? Okay. Anna says, I've had a lot of experiences which I don't have a problem sharing to connect, but a quarter of my story will affect my mother since we have mutual friends and family. Do I just exclude that one part? Sure. Okay. Exclude that one part. Listen, Anna, I have a part of my story that I know would help a lot of people if I shared, but I only share it with a very select group, and only when I know it's not being recorded, because for the same reason, it'll hurt my mother, it'll hurt family members. Like, I don't want to open up that can of worms. It has not affected my business one iota. You're allowed to have some secrets. You don't have to be 1,000% transparent. Share what you want to share. Share what's going to help you connect. Leave out the parts that are irrelevant or that are going to be harmful and hurtful to other people that you care about. Oh my gosh, do you hear these people laughing? I know they see me in here. Sorry, but can she shut it? Okay. Jillian, I find that the 70%ers on my team started, I find that the 70%ers on my team started as challengers, but I know that recruiting is what will allow me to rank advance. How do I go about recruiting people that didn't start as a challenger? Just invite. Why do they have to be a challenger? What about if you looked through your network? What if you did a post where you actually pre-qualified people? Are you driven, ambitious, motivated, ready for transformation in your life? Are you looking to earn XYZ amount of money? Are you ready to try something that will totally scare you but give you an amazing payoff in the end? I'm looking for 5 new interns. There you go. Oh my God, if this girl doesn't shut her mouth, I'm gonna lose it, you guys. And I don't have a jacket to muffle myself. I'm so sorry. Okay, so let me try to put, how's this? Is this better? Okay. So Jillian. Okay, good. She left. Sorry. Y'all, hold on. I need y'all to see my face. Can I just show you my face? I just gave her the dirtiest look, and I was about to just knock on the door and say, all right, joke's over. Back to the sharing. So because it's like so rude. I mean, we're all in this shared space. So Jillian, to answer your question, like, it can be that simple. Like, just really directly recruit for what you're looking for. And Andrea has amazing examples of this, right, Andrea? Back me up, sister. That's why she gives you a thumbs up. I was waiting for some, like, give her something.
You want a specific example of, give me more. Like, what exactly do you want me to tell her? Are you muted? You're muted.
So like she's saying, how do I recruit to non-challengers, right? So the no-brainer answer is you just cast the net for people who want to build the business. But I'm saying you're great at wordsmithing it. So can you give her a little bit of copy to get her started? So, and by the way, you guys, like, all these scripts are available for you in your leaders training, back-end training. I know if you're on Andrea's team, she's got a killer training site. I know that Brandy and Mindy, I know that they all have these things available for you. Are you tapping into your resources? So go ahead. I'm going to shut up now. Go, Andrea.
So when it comes to inviting specifically around the business, Facebook posts have to show people are wondering 2 things. Does it work and will it work for me? Those are the questions that are running through their mind. So if you're just posting, stuff that is, self-serving and it doesn't answer one of those questions, then yes, your Facebook posts are going to fall on deaf ears, because they're going to read their post and there's going to be like, there's nothing in this for me, and they're going to keep scrolling. So you have to think about, specifically on social media right now, people's attention spans are getting shorter and shorter and shorter and shorter by the second. You have to grab them right away with something interesting, with something that connects with them in your first sentence. So that first sentence has to be something very catchy, like you might see on the cover of a magazine. So you guys can do the research. This is what I did. I started asking myself the questions of like, who compels me to open their message? So I think about my favorite magazines. What are the headlines on those magazines that compel me to open and read a little bit more before I decide, am I going to buy this magazine, right? So that's where I look for inspiration. The other place is email. If you're going to get me to open your email, you've got to have a really good subject line, because I really don't spend a whole lot of time in email. So if I read your email, consider yourself like extremely talented with your subject line game. So if someone compels me to open their email, I save a screenshot of that subject line, and I think about like, how can I use this in a Facebook post? So thinking of things that would be like catchy, grab people's attention right away, and then stories. So I'll post a template of like what an invite post should look like, kind of like all the elements or the anatomy of a strong invite post, making sure that you have limited number of spots, a catchy headline, you share your story, yada, yada. But the most important thing here is like what I see people do is they'll post once, and then if they don't get any response, they say, well, this shit doesn't work. For me, most of the time, I'll post something once, and a lot of times I don't get anybody. It's not till the second, third, fourth, maybe fifth post where I'm starting to get maybe one person on this one, two people on this one person on this one, three people on this one. Like, it's the consistency. So Melanie Mitro just did a killer, and she's done a bunch of these. If you guys just went on YouTube and searched Melanie Mitro marketing plan, you guys will see like probably 4 or 5 different YouTube videos where she's taught the same lesson on her marketing plan. But what she does is she decides, okay, I'm going to invite to a business opportunity call or a sneak peek or a Facebook event. It doesn't matter, like whatever tool you're going to use to give them the information. But what she does is she plans the date of when that's going to launch, and then she backs up her invitation process 7 to 10 days. So for, roughly 7 to 10 days, she's posting, once a day, and then once every other day, there's a legit call to action in the post. She makes that ask. And this is what I see doesn't happen enough with coaches. And you guys are wondering why you maybe only get like 5 people a month, and maybe like one person every other month says yes. So every other month you're hitting Success Club 2, right? So that's just not enough. So you guys ask yourself, okay, well, it's working, but it's just not working enough. So I gotta scale the numbers. Just means you need to ask more. So the other thing that you can do is when you get that invite post up, go send personal messages to the people who like your post. Just send them an honest, authentic message. Thanks for liking my post. I really appreciate your support. I know it didn't take you a whole lot of time, but the fact that you supported me meant a lot. Is there anything I can support you with? Like, how's your life going? I see your kids are like, about to graduate kindergarten this year. That's so crazy. Like, how's momming going? Like, adulting life is hard. Like, anything I can support you with, like, you need to like cry on my shoulder one time because you're sleep deprived. I got your back, sister. Like, just have an authentic conversation like you'd have with any normal person, and remove this is where people get stuck. It's the fear of what someone might say. If you guys stay present in the moment and detach yourself and pretend like they're not even going to say yes or no, just have the conversation no matter what, and not care if they say yes or no, you guys are going to get more yeses. It's slowly going to start to build. But if people can feel your angst and anticipation and nervousness, and what are they going to say? What are they going to think? People's opinions of you are none of your business. None of your business. So that's just like, and I'll drop a link of like a bunch of scripts. We're working on some extra resources for you guys right now. The problem is like we have so many scripts that, again, like people see too much, and that it's like your kids, they have a room full of 1,000 toys and they can't find one to play with, or we have a closet full of 1,000 outfits and we can't find one outfit to wear. When you have too many options, it tends to stall you from making a decision and taking action. So I'm challenging you guys, set a timer and say, I'm going to go through these scripts, and with 5 minutes, when that timer goes off, one of them I have to choose and I have to go with it. And you have to go type it in and use your own words, put your own flavor, because you take ownership over what you create. So maybe someone else wrote the script, but you put your own flavor into it. Like Rachel talks different than I talk. I'm going to call I'm going to have this different kind of like dialogue with a person that would be completely different than what she would say, but the message is still the same. It's, what can I do to change your life today? That's it. And if you can't do anything to change your life, like, nice having a conversation with you. Like, thanks for being my friend. Who cares if they say yes or no? That's what people get stuck on, is like, what if they say no? Well, what if they do? Who cares? Like, are you going to die? No.
So one of the yeah. Okay, so one of the things that you just mentioned, Andrea, that I think is really important is it's something called active always listening. And so we are always listening for a response or for a word. We're always listening for something instead of listening to what's actually being said. And then the other thing that we're always doing is we're always giving meaning to things without knowing what the other person's meaning or intended meaning actually was. And so you need to work on that. When someone says no or they don't buy, it means nothing. There's nothing wrong. It doesn't mean anything. They just said no. And the sooner you can adopt this practice of nothing means anything, the sooner you're able to really let go and just sort of be free to be and to have those authentic conversations. And I know some people say, well, I'm afraid that they're going to think that I'm trying to get something out of them. Well, yeah, they may think that you're trying to get something out of them if you feel that you're just having the conversation because you want something from them. And so if you can go in there with, as Andrea said, no emotional attachment to the outcome, then your conversations will become more authentic. But as long as you're looking at people as points, you will never cross that barrier. You will always struggle to make that invitation. Now, I saw a couple of questions, and Allie said that she tried to go to the site and it said, ask for a password. Sorry, my bad. I took off the password, so go check it out now. Okay, so Brooke says, what are your recommendations on how to set yourself apart and uniquely branding you in your business? I struggle with combining my own brand with a kind of corporate Beachbody brand like GC's and Coach Basics. Well, Brooke, just let me make sure I understand the question. Are you saying, how do you create a you.com brand as a Beachbody coach? Because the way that I would approach that is, I'm the brand, I'm the personality, I'm the transformer, and the tools that I'm using to help you transform are Beachbody products. And so if you take that approach of, here, I'm actually leading you, and here's the tools that I'm going to use. Just as if I said, like, hey, I'd love for you to come over and have a cup of coffee with me, and I'm going to have this great conversation with you, and the coffee that I'm going to use is Starbucks versus Pete's or whatever. Okay, so approach it from that way. Roth Pax says, whenever I do a post about the business opportunity or challenge groups, I seem to get crickets, or the only likes are from my aunts. How do I find people to talk to if they aren't even liking those posts? All my other social media posts get great interaction. Okay, so on all the other posts that get great interactions and people that are liking your stuff, why couldn't you just open up the list and look at all the people that liked that particular post and reach out to them? So what if they're not expressing an interest? I think I shared this story with you guys last week. Maybe I didn't, but I remember I had invited someone to work with me. And she was someone that if I had allowed my judgment to stand in the way, she would have been someone I would have thought was an unlikely candidate. But I was like, screw it. I'm going to reach out to her. I'm going to invite her to work with me. And she said yes, but the response that she gave me was, I'm so glad that you reached out to me because I've been wanting to work with you, but I didn't have the courage to ask you. So you have to take the approach that There are people out there that really do want to work with you, but they're scared. They're nervous. They have their own story running in their head. They have their own already always listening, ears open for whatever thing that they think you're going to say, right? One of the greatest lessons I learned was that we're all afraid of each other. We're all terrified of each other, which is why when you're walking down the street, you rarely see people make eye contact with you. And if God forbid you actually make eye contact with a stranger, you both look away real fast, right? Because we're so scared of having a conversation. Some guy, I went to pay for my parking today, and he started talking to me, and I'm not going to front. For a second, I was like, why are you talking to me? But then I stopped and I reminded myself, we're all afraid of each other. He just wants to have a conversation. Open yourself up to have this cool conversation. And the guy was the coolest guy. He's got this great business and whatever. He was brave enough to say, hey, how are you? How's parking in San Diego? That was the opener. His opening question to me was, so he said, this is my first time parking in San Diego. How do you like it? What a random question. But in that random question, we got to talk about where he was from. He gave me his business card. I'm probably going to order some journals from him because his work is impeccable. Find a question. Find a random common ground question. And it doesn't even have to be common ground, because really, parking? Got it? All right. Any other questions that I can answer before we call this officially a wrap?
I have 3 minutes. 3 minutes to get off.
You what now?
3 minutes. 3 minutes.
Oh, well then we can call it a wrap now. Cool. Thanks for having me. It's been real. I hope that you go back, look at your notes, look at the training, and remember that what's stopping you from rank advancing is less about the tactics. Because see, here's the thing. Andrea, you see all the questions that are coming in right now? They're tactical, strategic questions. And it's less about how do I find people to talk to? And really the question, Roth Pack, is not how do I find people to talk to, is how can I push past my own comfort zone? How could I push past my own mindset? How could I push past my fear of approaching people randomly? Because I know you knew that deep down. I know you knew that that was the strategy. So it comes back to your story, reframing it, and then transforming your state so that you can execute your strategy. I'm a passionate and emotional person. I've been working on being more open with my posts and videos. But when I make videos and it's a deep subject, I tend to cry on my videos. I feel like it's unprofessional. I've always thought that crying was a negative and weak thing. What are your thoughts on that? Am I doubting myself? I'm not sure. I cannot cry when it's a subject I'm passionate about. Okay, so here, this is such a beautiful question because there's so many things wrong with it in the right way, right? So here's what I mean by that. You're asking me what I think about how you feel. Who cares? My opinion is not important. If you are passionate and if you cry when you're passionate, then cry when you're passionate. I have a client who cries every single time we talk because she's passionate. The woman cries at least once a day. God bless her. It's not affecting her life. She's bringing in the right people who don't mind being around her and her crying ways. Go ahead, Andrea. I know you got to go. But I want to make sure that we really love you, girl. I'll wrap it up. But I want to make sure that we talk about this because here's the thing. It doesn't matter what I think. The real question, when you ask me, Victoria, am I doubting myself? My question to you is, are you doubting yourself? Are you? I don't know. I don't know if you're doubting yourself or if you're just embarrassed or if you're just overly concerned with the judgment and potential ridicule you may face by being vulnerable and showing this different side of you. So I don't know if it's doubt. Maybe it's fear. Maybe it's anticipation. How would I know? I'm not living your life, right? Do you get that? Does that make sense? So my personal thought is be who you are. The right people will come to you. Okay, so you said, yeah, I guess I am doubting myself, and everything you're saying may be fear. Yeah. Well, I'm going to tell you right now, you are doubting yourself in a lot more areas in life than in just in this one thing. And the reason why I say that is because your response was, yeah, I guess I am doubting myself. Like, you don't even have the certainty to say, I doubt myself. You are so full of insecurities and self-doubt that you can't even admit and feel confident to admit that how you feel is how you feel. That's a tough place and space to be living in, Victoria. Because you don't even trust that it's okay for you to feel how you feel. Someone told you that you can't be weak. Someone told you that you had to be strong. Someone planted it in your head that if you doubt or if you don't feel confident 100% of the time, you're wrong. And that is not the case. That's not the truth. That's old programming. So what I said last week, do you trust yourself enough to? Yeah. Do you trust yourself? You don't, but you can. And you can make that decision right now. I'm going to trust myself. I trust myself. It's safe for me to feel anything that I feel. It's safe for me to be vulnerable. It's okay for people to laugh at me. It's fine if people judge me. People are going to judge you regardless of whether you show up or not. People are going to judge you if you cry or if you don't cry. So you might as well let them judge you at your most authentic self, right? I'm a Christian, but I cuss. People judge me. Okay, but this is who I am. I have an attitude problem. Okay, that's who I am. Some people like it, some people don't. Some people think it's funny, some people think it's obnoxious. Okay. It's not that I don't care. It's that I don't let their opinions affect my actions. Because I have a purpose and I have a mission. And that is to work with women and some men, just like all of you, who need that support and who need someone to be the beacon and the example of having a strong mindset. So that means that when I show up, I have to show up in the face of all the story that might be going on. When I do something, I have to do something in my most authentic level. When I let someone down, I have to step up and say, I let you down and I'm sorry, I'm taking responsibility, which I did in the previous coaching call. I had one of my coaching groups met tonight. And actually, I think she's still on this call, but Erin, I let Erin down this week. I was supposed to hold her accountable and I was supposed to check in on her a couple days this week and I didn't. Now, as a leader, the story that ran very quickly through my head was, don't say anything, maybe she'll forget. But that's not who I wish to be. I wish to be a woman of integrity. I wish to be someone who rights my wrongs. And so I had to step up in the face of fear and what she might possibly say, and in the face of handling her disappointment in me and say, I'm sorry, girl, I let you down. I will do better this week. And my intention and my hope is that when Erin sees me taking responsibility and as the leader of our group admitting that I dropped the ball, then she then becomes brave and empowered to stand up to her team when she drops the ball and say, hey, I'm sorry, I've been MIA. For whoever it was that fell off, okay, so you go back to your team and say, hey, I fell off, but I'm back. You with me or not? Let's do this. And they're either going to say, it's okay, no big deal, or they're not going to respond, or they're going to say, no, I'm not with you. All right. If they say it's okay, no big deal, believe them. Don't make up a story about, well, they said it's okay, but maybe it's not really, because it's not your job to be a mind reader. It's your job to take what people say to you for face value as the truth. And if you doubt their truth, then ask them, is that what you really meant? Tell me what you really mean when you say it's okay. Do you mean that it's okay and you're not angry? Do you mean it's okay and you forgive me? Do you mean it's okay, no big deal? What does it's okay mean, right? And these are the kind of conversations that we should be having with our spouses and the people that we have those intimate relationships with as well. Because once we stop giving meaning to other people's actions and behaviors, then we are free to be and free to act. So I hope that that was helpful. If you guys, I know a bunch of you had asked me, so I'm just going to put it back up on the screen one last time. If you didn't get the workbook yet, you're going to text the phrase BB workbook to the number 44222. Go ahead and screenshot that right now to make sure that you got it. And then if you are ready, and even if you're not ready, but you think you might want to work with me, a bunch of you had asked me last week, that page is ready, and you can go to rachelluna.biz/work. All right, so I wish you all an amazing evening, and I am asking that you commit to yourself for the next 17 days to invite at the mastery level, to pursue inviting at the mastery level. So if you commit to that, I want you to go into the Facebook group, not on this YouTube thing, go into the Facebook group, and under the thread for tonight, I want you to say, I commit to inviting at the mastery level. All right, you guys. Thank you so much. I am so grateful to have been here with you. I wish you all the best, and hopefully I will see a couple of you apply to work with me in one of my group coaching programs. All right, I'm out of here. Talk to you soon. And there's also a mindset class there that you can take a look at. So go check all of that out over on rachelluna.biz/work. All right, thanks again. Have a great night. Bye.